and try to answer some questions about where are we coming from? Where are we going? How did we get here? How can we get out of here? And what road should we take to our destination? Do we even know where we are going? And when we get to the destination, how shall we know that we have arrived at where we are supposed to be? On previous editions of this program, we have drawn attention to the fact that Nigeria as a nation is built on a faulty foundation. And until and unless that foundation is worked on, we are, sad to say, on a road to nowhere. We have also looked at how the prodigal sons and daughters who inherited the toil and sweat of the founding fathers have brought this nation to ruins and to a standstill. We have equally seen that for us to arrive at that destination, we must do a soul searching through the Rebirth Commission, which shall oversee the truth and reconciliation so much needed by this country for national healing to take place. That is, as it is today, Nigeria is in need of a marriage therapy, so that we should identify who a Nigerian citizen is and not cows wanting to be citizens. The Yoruba say an infirmity of blindness should be acute, as partial blindness brings nothing but confusion and contention. Again, the Yoruba say, should we set on fire the whole farm because it is overrun by ants? And that was where we ended last week, when we looked at what manner of restructuring is desirable for this country. While some are clamoring for a regional system of government, some others are calling for a whitewash of the 1999 Constitution as amended and panel beat here and there, yet some are calling for a split into ethnic nationalities or, in popular language, self-determination, or, to thy tents, O Israel. But in all of these, have we bothered to ask the people themselves what they want? Have we bothered to carry out a referendum on which way to go? And have we bothered to ask the people above the age of 18 what will be their opinion on where next to go? If Chief Obafemi Awolowo said then that Nigeria is not a nation but a mere geographical expression, if Ahmadu Bello said then that a loose federation will give the regions the ability to develop at their own pace, then why are we holding to a unitary system of government that has impeded growth in the whole nation? Since the 1914 amalgamation up to now, we have been trying to make Nigerians one country, but even to the blind, in our conduct, lifestyle, culture, and totality, we are totally different, and there is no semblance of unity or cohesion amongst us as a nation and as a people. And so what do we do? Is this unity of this country truly non-negotiable? For how long will a people accept being subjugated and trampled upon and treated as second-class citizens in their own country? Will a people who are less intellectually endowed continue lording it over those who are in all ramifications better than them? Must we not conduct a referendum to determine which way forward? Then the questions are, who will organize the referendum? Who will supervise it? What should be the likely issues that will be voted upon? Where will the place of the National Assembly be on the issue of referendum? When the Midwest was carved out in 1963 out of the Western region, it was just by fiat as well. So today on the program Insight, we are looking at referendum. Which way forward for this country? How do we go about it? Who supervises it? Who organizes it? And what is the role of the Nigerian public? Anuluapo.
Thank you so much, Femi, for that introduction. And of course, let's go straight into the conversation. We have our regular guests with us in the studio. This morning, we have Mr. Laolu Abumuloko. A very good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time. And of course, we have Deacon Olabiola with us. Good morning, Deacon.
Good morning.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
your time. Okay, so referendum. If someone asks if that is the next thing, Deacon, do we need a referendum now? What will your response be?
My response to whether there should be referendum is that if you want to govern a people, you must seek their consent. There must be something you are basing your activities on. And it's not new. I think 2016, Brexit in UK. Some people say they want to go, some people say they don't want to go. They need to go back to the people to ask, what do we do? We cannot continue to imagine that you know more than the citizens of a country. And when we are saying the foundation is wrong, that the foundation that we even believe is wrong has been destroyed. The question is, how was Nigeria coupled? A group of people, because of their business interests, came into this environment, met nations. Because by correct definition, Yoruba is a nation of its own. Igbo had their own nation. But these guys coupled these things together essentially for their business interests. So nobody was asked, how did 1914 happen? Who agreed that I want to stay with the Ijaw, I want to stay with the Benin people, I want to stay? Who did that agreement? How did it come about? These are the basic truths. And when these guys were going, they set up a constitution which they brought from London and said, this is it. Go ahead and be using it. Was there a referendum when they brought that constitution to say this is what we want? No. It's insulting. If I just come here now and I just order you, you are sleeping in that place. You want to ask yourself, who gave this guy authority over me to be saying this is where I sleep, this is where I eat? So basically, the starting point is, are we agreed to be together? I've just spoken about Brexit now. In US, it's been done. Almost, I can name nothing less than 40 countries of the world that at one point or the other, and the nearest we've ever come to that was 1950, 1951, when people gathered in their localities, yes, to say this is what we want. They ended up in Kaduna, in Ibadan, in Enugu, to say this is what this region, this nation actually wants. So if we want to stay together, and the three of them, the nationalities came to Ibadan to say this is what we want. These guys went to London, removed whatever does not suit them, add whatever they think, and we've been like that. The constitution you are using now, when was any referendum done to say this is what you want? So the basic truth is this: Nigeria cannot move forward until we sit down to say this is what we want, and but that can only be done with. You are referring to started with we the people. I think it's becoming an habit that each time you say something like that, I just don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. We the people. Yes. That signifies that at least maybe we gathered this because that phrase, we the people.
So who are the people?
Nigerians.
Sorry?
Nigerians.
Okay, let's start from the beginning. Who is a Nigerian? Femi Mapaderun is your name. Even from that name, I guess you are Yoruba.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this Chukudi Undemadi. From that name.
He's Igbo.
Oh. And Azan Usman Kastina is from Ibadan. Eh?
Hausa.
Which of them have you called Nigerian now? Which of them? I mean, you are Femi Mapaderun. I hope I'm right.
You are.
I imagine that even from that name, people who are listening already conclude that you are Yoruba. Why didn't they conclude that you are Nigerian? Who is a Nigerian? I've just said it. Some people came and drew a line and call it boundary, which has never been respected anyway. Okay, after drawing that, okay, so what do we call these people? We call them Nigerian. Who has ever accepted? The only evidence that you are a Nigerian is your green passport. Let's get to the basics. Who is a Nigerian? We need to do all this. In our discussions, we agree that this is an Hausa man, this is an Igbo man, this is Ijo. Even the way you dress. By the time I look at this, your cap, I don't think I need to guess. And I want to imagine that if you are Ijo, you are not likely going to put that cap.
Not really.
If you are Igbo, you are not likely going to put that cap. No. So who are you deceiving?
Mr. Boguloko.
All right.
Issue of referendum. When you talk about it, those in government, if you've been opportune to have discussion with them, what comes to their mind is perhaps an escape route to separation. So, how do you make those are the aims of affairs? I mean, those that will set the tone to believe that, no, when you talk about referendum, you're not talking about separation.
Well, as it is now, the people in government and some people are still doubting. They don't know what can happen because of the disunity, distrust that is prevalent in the country. But when you talk of referendum, it's a mono syllable kind of thing, yes or no. So we will start from, do we want to be in this country? Do you want to be in Nigeria? Yes or no? And these are the kind of things these people are afraid of. I don't know why. But what I think is this: before referendum can take place, there should be a lot of controversy, a lot of discussion, a lot of disagreement, a lot of conversations. The way it is now, the atmosphere is just hotting up. People are talking now, and one can easily guess the attitude or the body language of each part of the country now. So when the time comes, they won't have a choice rather than to call for referendum. But as it is now, I think they are afraid.
When you say when the time comes, when will this time come?
You know,
When will this time come?
it's almost time now, according to
Because
our discussion.
things are hotting up.
If we follow our discussion all this while, we are saying we have no time. But as it is now, you know, Ribat Group, we've started our own kind of debate and a system to gauge the thinking of the people. We started in Ibadan. We will soon go to Kaduna. By that time, the authority will know the feelings of the people. By that time, they will know whether they are still in control or not. But as it is now, they are still pretending they are in control. You know, in the case of Brexit, it was becoming too controversial for government and they had to sort it out. But when it comes to that, they won't have any other choice than to dance to what the people are desiring for, are asking for. As it is now, we know that we want to be in Nigeria. The population of those who are saying they want to go is minimal. But when it comes to the time, when you push the people to the wall, and a lot of people are saying, let us go to regional something, and some people are saying no, it is then that government will know they have a problem in their hand. That is when they will now say, okay, we are sure that majority of the people are on our side, because they don't want to gamble. That's the way I see it. And it's unfortunate that they are not able to gauge the attitude, the thinking of the people. The majority of the people are not interested in going out from Nigeria, because we have an advantage of population, of resources. If we can pull our resources together, we will be at an advantage. But it has to be like the of our people will say, you have to be fair. Equity must prevail. That is what people are saying. So a question of referendum is very near, the way I see it.
Dickie, if you look at it, you've said it severally on this program that one thing that binds Nigerians together, or one language all Nigerians understand, is that of hunger. Now, that hunger seems to be a pervasive thing presently in the land. And that speaks to whether hunger should not be dealt with first before we begin to talk about referendum. So people are saying, this hunger, isn't that what we should deal with first before we begin to talk of every other thing? So is there a nexus to those who believe, Dickie, let's deal with this hunger? This is rather too much.
Very important now.
How did hunger come in the first instance? The best way to look at hunger is to ask yourself. I love to use family occasionally settings. All of us say, I'm aware you have children. Some of us have grandchildren. If you knock at your child's room and the baby, that's your grandchild now, is crying, the first thing that will come to your mind is, where is your father? My father is there. Okay, where is your mother? Why are you crying? I'm hungry. Why? We don't have food at home. Why? We don't have money. Why? We don't have work. Look at that trend. You don't have food because you have no money. You don't have money because you have no work. Why don't you have work? Because the system had made sure that you can never have access to productive activity. So if you want to help that your child properly, you can go and buy bread or whatever. For now, palliative. Look for a system that will get the parents to be able to work. You don't teach people how to eat. You teach them how to fish. So the hunger that is happening is not, it's a symptom that something is wrong. I don't know whether you have traveled in this country, and I'm privileged to have visited so many states. I think I've said it here. I don't think there is any local government in this country that have not had the privilege of sleeping before, if only for a day. So I've visited quite a lot of places. And I can tell you for free, I've visited some other countries around the world. I've not seen a place as blessed as Nigeria. If you want to controvert it, please just let me know. Nigeria is a place where there is no reason for hunger. Hunger means no food, right? Whatever you want to eat in Ibadan, in front of your building there, go and just throw corn on the ground. In the next 3 months, You are harvesting. So there is no business. That hunger is an indication that there is something fundamentally wrong. And I've told you now, if somebody says he's hungry, I want to ask you why. Why should you be hungry? You are hungry because there is no food.
Sustenance.
How come you don't have food? There is no money for you to buy food, or there is no space for me to cultivate. Why should that be? So I love to make it basic. The hunger that is on ground now should tell us to examine how we live. Should tell us to examine why we are like this.
Apologies. Now, one of the reasons why there is hunger in the land, according to experts and all that, is because the farmers are not being allowed to stay on the farm. Now, there is this ethnic profiling going on. It's so bad. Some persons believe that some marauders invade farms and they drive people away. And we're talking about a system that will enable people to have sense of entitlement. So if, as a Yoruba man, a referendum is conducted today and I discover that I love a particular land or a space, in Benue State, for instance, is the type of referendum you are calling for such that will permit me to say, stay in Benue State. Even when perhaps the people around there will see me as a threat, as it were.
I don't understand. Sincerely, I don't understand the question. Why I don't understand is this. Why are you afraid of referendum? Nobody will say you should not come to any place. Nobody should. An American can fly into Nigeria if you have your visa. This year, I've been to America. Why? Because I have my visa. And what does that mean? That means you are a visitor here. We have rules. If you violate it, that visa is withdrawn.
A particular reserve in Oyo State was said to have been given out legally year 1928 or thereabouts. And so the Aborigines around that area, here in Oyo State, wanted to lay claim to their land. And these settlers said, sorry, perhaps before your own father was born, we were given this place. And there was a decree to that effect. All of these came about when there was herders farmers clashes. So if a referendum is conducted,
you've just said it. They were given something, and as at the time they were given the land, nobody envisaged that you will now become a threat to my life. That's why I said nobody will tell you. I mean, where we are talking now, somebody bought the land. Somebody had CFO on it. That CFO can be revoked. I hope you know. Yes. Right? It's the same thing. My great-grandfather gave you land, and you know that it's my great-grandfather that gave you the land. If you misbehave, I will chase you out of that place. The idea really is this. Each and every one of us, you have a right. There is nothing stopping a job man. Again, I will repeat, I'm from Ibadan. And I don't think you can get more liberal than we are. If the price is right, they can even sell Oluba the palace. Nobody bothers. But you have to agree to the terms. This is where we are going. Nobody is saying because of referendum, Hausa man cannot stay in Ibadan. Why?
Okay. Mr. Abogunoko, still talking about this referendum. Who organizes it? Who supervises it? And what will be the role of the National Assembly as it is presently constituted in the year referendum?
You know, we talk about rebate commission, and the issue they will talk about and resolve. We've not really talked about who will set up the rebate commission. Whether it's a National Assembly or by presidential order or whatever, but and sometimes we have something called the doctrine of necessity. You see, I said the other time that events will dictate what will happen. And this referendum we are talking about is not going to be won. We have to, first of all, resolve, do we want to be Nigerians? After that, which type of government? That's one. You want to be a Nigerian, yes or no? Yes or no? Do we operate presidential system or parliamentary? Yes or no? Do we operate regional government? Yes or no? Those are the kind of things if you want to go the route of referendum. But if you want a commission to sit wherein all the ethnic groups will participate, just like it happened in 1950 by Macpherson constitution, before the coming of the constitution, he went around the whole country. This Rebel Commission we are talking about, they have to go throughout the whole country. It's not going to be whether you want to be a Nigerian or not alone. Do you want to belong to Shaki local government? If some people, Shaki will have adjoining villages. Yes. The people of the villages will have to agree whether they want to be in the Shaki local government.
As it happened in the Cameroons then.
That's what we are talking about. Because there are some people that people that were joined together and they coin a name, an acronym to say this is the something local government. That name does not describe their identity, but because they joined just two words together, and those people may not, whether you like it or not, it was done by fiat. The opinion of those people were not sought before they did it. So what we are saying in essence is this: if you want to go in the route of referendum, you have to be ready to do it wholeheartedly, holistically. You start from the little pieces before you say, okay, who are the people who wants to belong to your state? There was a time people were saying Ugbomo Bafoshu. Maybe Iwo will still want to come to Ibadan and some other boundary areas. Those things has to be sorted out. So if you want to go by the way of referendum, there are so many issues on ground that will be decided.
Okay, Dickie, is that not a long road to restructuring?
I wish there can be a shorter way. I wish there can be a shorter way. Let me reveal something. I, seated here, was advocating this 1998.
Referendum?
Referendum as part of a rebate. You can't escape referendum, whether you like it or not. You can't escape it. I can't see how you want to escape it. Now, if, as at that time that you are saying, let's go this route, 1998, if we had done it that time, maybe we won't be in this situation. And it doesn't matter how long you delay it. What is long in, everything can be done. Macpherson that you are talking about didn't take more than 9 months or so to conclude with the whole thing. How long is 9 months in the life of a nation? How long is that in the life of a nation? And all the systems that you've been talking about, I may bold to tell you they are based on falsity, fraud. What is presidential in what you are practicing? If I ask you now, give me a good example of a presidential system that you know. Oh yeah, give me.
You talk of United States.
Okay, so United States. Show, please, maybe I give you that assignment. Show me where immunity is in the Constitution of America. Show me the clause that makes it possible for America to determine what happens in local government. Show me where in American presidential system a president can remove a governor, and it has happened in Nigeria. So which system? We are deceiving ourselves. These guys simply hold the cow by the horn in order to milk it.
But unfortunately, all of these that you have stated that are aberrations to the original presidential system of government, I mean the United States, they are enshrined in the Nigerian Constitution.
And that's why we are saying, who drew that constitution? I said they are holding the cow by the horn in order to be able to milk it. Your parliamentary was designed to favor Britain. There was nothing parliamentary in what they did. Gentlemen, what are you talking about parliamentary? When you got independence in 1960, Queen was still your head of state until 1963. What independence are you talking about? Your Supreme Court was still in England
Privy Council.
in 1960. So what? You've never been independent. You have never been.
Even till now,
I pray I won't have to say it tomorrow. What was happening was essentially that the ethnic groups were agitating, and Britain could no longer stomach it. They needed to exit, and they put a joint venture together and handed a flag. Aside from the flag, what else did you get? They gave you a name that you don't know how it came about. They gave you a flag, and you are there clapping. Come on, you are a father. The day you gave your child a name, that they say you are the one calling this, you already know you have responsibility to train that child.
but again, I'm wondering, the national anthem given at that time, the leaders now in an independent nation are going back to things that happened.
Shouldn't this show you that this guy, we all are confused? Shouldn't you know? I said the ethnic groups, up till I'm talking to you now, the people of Benue, I make bold to tell you, sit down with them, you will weep. Because nobody has ever asked them, who are you? What do you want? We need to sit down, ask people, what do you really want? You brought a constitution that gave my father's land away. I cannot enter into my father's land because it's now vested in a governor. It's now vested in a president. It's now vested, and did you ask me if I say, oh, because I can't manage the land, I'm ceding the management to you? If I come tomorrow, you say, you are the one that said I should manage it. Who gave some of these things? Who gave this authority?
But
These are the questions.
One of the things that perhaps we've been holding on to is that we say the unity of this country is non-negotiable. If, for example, we have this referendum, and some parts of say we are going away, that part says we are going away.
I make bold to tell you that if that's why we said there will be National Rebate Commission and there will be serious, massive education.
Yes.
Now, in communication, you identify the objects.
Yes.
People who say they don't want to stay, can you please ask them why?
Why?
And they will say, the way you people are putting your cap is not certain to me. As mundane as that. Oh, cap? Is that the reason why you don't want to stay? They say yes, okay. This is why we have this type of cap. It's possible I will explain it to you and you say, oh, no, I'm not actually abusing you. It doesn't affect you, actually. It's on my head. I'm not saying you should put on the cap. Okay? So if we find a way of talking together, right? What's your grievance? What have we done wrong? But how do you go to somebody's land, kill the people, take the land? I don't know if I need to explain the root cause of settler colonialism. They kill you to take your land, and that's what some people are practicing. And you now say that is not negotiable. It's negotiable, I beg.
Mr. Boguluko, as faulty as the 1999 Constitution may be, it remains the ground norm in Nigeria today. Many people have reservations. That Constitution that governs the way things are handled and done in this country does not have provision for referendum. So how do we break that chain? Because it's like a debacle.
Well, it is, Deacon was talking about consent to govern. It is because Nigerians, either by our attitude or our disposition, we agreed with the Constitution and we agreed that that's the way we want to be governed. But you can see that a lot of discontent are coming up now. And if people says we don't want the Constitution again, maybe that will be the first referendum we are going to take.
But are people saying that? How many people are saying that?
Because a lot of people have not seen, they have not seen the problem with the 1999 Constitution. A lot of people are saying that it is because we have bad leaders, it is because the operators are bad, it is because of the way we do our elections, the election of our leaders, the way we choose our leaders are the problem. But some people, I have been saying it on this program for some time now, that most of the time you can't blame these legislators or politicians, because the system that brought them to power is faulty ab initio. You want to get a ticket to be a governor, you will go and pay 50 million or whatever before nomination. Maybe 10 people will pay 50 million. Only one person will win. Oh, okay, that person who paid 50 million and did not win, and if the winner of the nomination eventually becomes governor and he chooses that person as a commissioner or a minister, you don't want him to recover his 50 million. These are the kind of thing that is happening, and by virtue of 1999 Constitution. But some of the people are not privy to this. This is why this program and the effort of Rebirth Group is germane here. We have to tell the people, it is the 1999 Constitution that places advantage at the hands of some people. Some people, by the virtue of the local government they have more legislators, and anything that concerns Nigeria or the generality of people, their opinion will always prevail. This is by virtue of 1999 Constitution. So if we know this is the root cause of our problem, won't we sit down and say, let us do something about it? Okay. And some people will say, because we are elected, we will ask them, who by what are you elected in the first instance? So, you are discussing about we, the people of Nigeria, the other time. We will have to ask them, who are the we you are talking about?
So since the 10th National Assembly is going about amending the Constitution, there are many proposals. How come no one is pushing that, okay, in this your amendment, include referendum?
If you say they should include referendum, it means whatever they are doing is acceptable to you. But you can see a lot of people talking about regionalism, parliamentary, 6 regions, 10 regions, which means those people are not in sync with what the National Assembly is doing. In the first instance, they didn't ask us whether they should do the amendment. So they started on their own, and they are doing their business. At the end of the day, if they come up with anything, who says the people will accept it? You are saying you want state police, you want to place state police on, at the disposal of somebody who is a demigod in the state. Is that the kind of restructuring we are talking about? These people are already powerful.
Okay, so
and you want to put state police at their disposal again.
So where the challenge is, it's been said that the man with the gavel, who, owns the power. And so after the
power that the people gave to them.
Oh. So the moment he knocks the gavel, if you're in support, say I, the eyes have it. Once he knocks it, it becomes the thought of everybody. Whereas not the majority are in support of it. So how do we break off from such system of government?
One thing about Nigeria is this, especially in Yoruba land, I've never seen anywhere in the last 10, 20 years when protesters were rounded up and put in prison. And they say because of what somebody has said, they go and arrest him and put him in prison. It has never happened. It is we that we are timid. Nobody is saying you should not talk. So if we should, all of us should now start telling these people this is what we want done. So do you think the people at Abuja, whenever they come home and what we confront them is, oh God, what you are doing in Abuja is not favorable to us, so we are not in support to. Please do something about it. The second time he comes and you say this thing, you still have to do something about it. The third time they will say, please don't come home if this thing is not done. So they will know that the people are not agreeable to whatever they are doing over there. But we are not talking. We are just, they will come, you go and eat salad meat with them. Nobody is complaining. Everybody is happy. Dansaki, go on song and that kind of a thing. So they think they are doing the right thing. But we that we are feeling the pinch, it is this time that we should be talking. We should say it loud. Until you say it loud, they wouldn't know that the time is up. We made an example of what happened in Britain. Eventually, when the referendum was conducted, people were complaining afterward that maybe we shouldn't have done this thing. So these are the kind of things that will happen when the people are not happy and they are saying it out. The people in government, we know, and when these people come with their multitude of escort cars, you still hail them and you want them to stop what they are doing.
Okay, we now take it that when we go this route of referendum, we are calling for a marriage therapy.
Yeah, you are calling for a marriage therapy. Again, I will still wonder why people think they can hold on to this type of situation for long.
The marriage is not working?
It's not. Okay, let me remind you of this. I think 2005, some people in Europe came up with having a single constitution for the whole of Europe.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And the French people, they went to referendum. The French people said, no. You cannot unify all of us. I'm talking of 2005. It's not that long. Right? And that's how it was rejected. Civilized people ask questions. Right? If I come here and I respect you, even for me to feed you, I will ask you, will you prefer amala or iyán?
Deacon, our time is up, but I'm going to ask this question, and it speaks to the essence of democracy. And I think that is where the problem is. Many people are agitated. But of course, you ask the government, as presently constituted, it talks about the fact that legitimacy was given to it by the people.
Which people?
Who voted
Which
them
who
in?
voted them in. And so if
Based on what?
On an election that was held,
conducted,
The election was conducted under which constitution?
at least the present constitution,
And who enacted
problem.
that constitution?
the military, you say?
We have
And
to
then,
question
I mean,
the constitution first.
Who gave you that constitution? We are still playing. Okay? I think I've said it here. How many people voted the last election?
minority of the minority.
Minority of the minority. Why did people not vote?
Apathy?
Why apathy? People can't trust even the voting pattern. You are handing over the country to a set of people that can announce results with or without you. And you think it will continue? The basic truth is this: we are all endangered. And it won't take more than a few years down the line, and everybody will see clearly. Nobody is praying for anarchy. But when you are pushed to the wall, what do? We've seen situations in this country where people are going into supermarkets to loot.
They said they're hungry.
Because they are hungry. We've seen people in this country waiting for trailers
To break down.
To break down.
and then they loot. Now, the other day, a tanker carrying low fuel, they discharged that fuel. They were scooping.
But
They
that's
discharge.
dangerous.
It's dangerous. Oh no! You see, there is a danger with hunger. When hunger pushes you, the first thing that it removes from you is your sense of morality. That's why you find women, the first thing that goes is, whatever it will take, I need to feed my children. The first thing poverty does is to remove your sense of morality. The next thing it will remove is your sense of legality. Because the only thing that is proper is for me to survive, is for me to live.
Okay. Now let's go to the people. 0916-104-7698, 0902-2809-257, or 0811-052-6487. Please let us dispense with all greetings and whatever. Let's go straight to the point, and you have 30 minutes, 30 seconds to take your question.
All right, the numbers are
The numbers are on the screen: 0916-104-7698, 0902-2809-257, or 0811-052-6487. Those are the lines to the studio.
All right, let's start with this. Hello, good morning. Thank you. Welcome, mother. 1998.
Nigeria, not this is not a country. We are still put in a cage, and these things are getting to us. So who will bring out of this mess that we are in?
All right, thank you so much, Madam Deborah, for your time on the program. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah. This is Obama from Ivory.
You're welcome.
Yes, sir. I get your guess. My question is, I have many questions, but let me ask this one. This constitution that we have recorded, that is my first question today is that this constitution, are we saying that they are not too good in that constitution? That is the first question. The second question is, this people of Nigeria, that people have been condemning that it's not it's not good, or that grammar is wrong. Is there any other way that grammar would have been written?
Okay, thank you.
Is there any other way that grammar would have been written? Or is there any way all Nigerians are gathered to form a constitution? That's my question for today.
Okay. Amen. Thank you so much, Mr. Ola, for your time on the program. Let's pick this. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, and morning.
Thank you.
I think I need to commend the DPD and Mr. Bukoloko.
May we know your name, sir?
Yeah, Jesus.
Okay, Joseph, welcome.
They speak the truth. And that is why I love this radio. Unlike other radio, I will mention it. When you speak the truth, the
right, Joseph, it's all about commendation from Joseph. Okay, to those, we can pick 2 calls at a time. To those who have tried to call in, when we're on another call, you can repeat your call. Let's see 1 or 2 more before we go to our guest. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Oh, you are on. Hello, good morning. Okay, so you want to call us back. You want to answer the questions, especially the one asked by Ola
About the constitution.
about the constitution.
How do we change the vocabulary?
His first question was, is there nothing good about that constitution that
You just condemn
wants it
wholesale.
discarded? The second one is that paragraph.
Can't we get something?
Is there a way it can be modified? Hello, good morning.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you clearly now.
Good. Thank you very much for this sort of program. And this is the beginning of what we should do. And I think that's what the referendum should be about.
We wish to know your name, sir.
First of all, that our constitution that makes us a Nigerian, a Republican, what all sorts of things. We need to talk and dialogue. Our constitution has to be adjusted or rewritten, whichever way, and we can only do that by referendum. So there's a need for referendum with the purpose, so that you can start again to build up the country. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for your time. And so the last caller for today. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Yeah. Blessed is to Amutagero. This is Femi from Monia.
Femi from Monia, welcome.
Yes, sir. Please, sir. I can see that the whole problem
Go
in
just
this
okay.
nation is just under one problem, and that is corruption. What do we do to corruption in this country? That's my question, sir.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Femi from Monia. So here are the questions.
You talk about corruption.
How do we do it?
We've discussed it on this program. Like my friend, we always say, "Owo olowo dun na." When money is coming from where you don't know the source, you can spend it any way you like. But go and take LAPO money or cooperative money and you spend it anyhow, and you say you want to walk freely on the street. When something is, when we say, people will always say everybody's problem is nobody's problem. But when you have a region which you can call your own, and somebody you are paying his salary goes to the center to start talking nonsense, or the money meant for your region is spent it anyhow, people will know they know your family, they know everywhere. And you know the way corruption is thriving in Nigeria, because there is no what do you call it? What's the word? Precedent, repercussion. You know. So when somebody still, people have been saying that if you want to go away with corruption or make it big, so that you can hire 12 sons, but if you steal 10,000, you will go to jail. Make it big, so that at the end of the day they will say plea bargain, and people have been getting away with it. Why won't corruption thrive? But when there is repercussion for whatever you do, people, it is not that people overseas or advanced countries, there are no thieves there. They are armed robbers, they are assassins, but you cannot get away with it. We know what is happening to ex-president now over there. And tell me any of our ex-president that has been questioned for one thing or the other. So they get away with all these things, so they will continue. So he talked about constitution, that whether we should change the
Can't we
land.
find another word phrase?
The norm all over the world is, when you want to, even a club or local landlords constitution, it is agreed that you all made the law. So you have to start that we. So it is the we, that it is the notion that they are putting, that all of us agreed, that people are questioning, and there is no way you can put it. There is no way you can say we all agree than to say we. So it is not the English language now or whatever that we are talking about, but because they didn't involve the people. So that's what we are talking about. And the Constitution, it says, are there no good things about it? Of course, there are good things, but the bad ones supersede the good things. And it seems the Constitution is a kind of constitution that has put a lot of people in slavery. It has given lordship to certain people. So whatever you are able to achieve, it is when people, the Christian will say, the devil will give you 200 and withdraw 400 from you. So right. What do you have to say in that?
Let's take the submission of Dickin. The Constitution.
We subscribe to Universal Declaration of Human Rights.
That's true.
Article 21 of that United Nations listing says the will of the people is the basis of government. You must get the consent of the people. For your marriage to be legal, you must get the consent. Your wife must sign a dotted line. There must be a consent. In Yoruba land, they will bring the father and the mother. Do you agree to this? The question is, the constitution you are talking about, based on what? Based on your culture? Is it based on United Nations agreed something? We subscribe to United Nations this thing. Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Article 21 says the basis, the consent of the people is the basis of government. You have no right to rule over me without my consent.
Okay.
All right. That's the issue of referendum treated today. I hope one or two things, have been dropped and lessons have been learned. May Nigeria succeed, a seed has been sown. Where will it germinate? Of course, only time will tell. I am Anulu Akpomori Defemi.
Thank you, Anu. And this is a convenient spot for us to draw the curtain on the program this morning, in which we've looked at the issue of referendum. Next week promises to be better as we go on in this conversation. Nigeria will be a better country in your own time, in my own time. We can have a better Nigeria if you do your part and I do my part. My name is Adefemi Mapadero. We thank our backroom staff for coming onto the program and for doing so much for us on the program. Tope Lalude, Tunjade Efa, Godwin, Oseni, and everybody. And to our regular guests, Kinola Biola and Mr. Laulu Abubuluku. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
We'll see you next week. Adefemi Mapadero signing out. Have a pleasant day.